So today we get an interesting report stating that the Lakers could actually still pursue Doc Rivers this offseason. On the other hand, we get a look inside Tyrese Maxey and the rumors surrounding his availability. And lastly, a couple other pieces of information you will not want to miss. We will break it all down. Let's go. Perfect. What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome on into Philly Take with RB. You know what to do. Hit that like button if you do enjoy this content. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, and be sure to ring that notification bell. If you don't miss any of the videos or upcoming live streams, I promise we will be going live very, very soon. We'll have the lines open. I can't wait to hear from Sixers Nation, so be sure you do not miss out. But anyway, we are back talking today, and that is right. It's been one of those days where you just get little bombs left and right. We'll talk about an article written by Kyle Neubeck of PhillyVoice. But first, we must start with the big one of the day, and that is Doc Rivers. Yes, Bleacher Report putting this out per the Stein line, Marc Stein. Lakers haven't, quote, abandoned hope that Doc Rivers will become available to hire this summer. Now, a couple weeks ago, we had put out a piece of content talking about this after Doc and Daryl Morey had a press conference the day after we lost the second round series, and Daryl had confirmed that Doc was coming back. But then, there were reports in the shadows the next couple days talking about, how can you evaluate your future, especially when this got bounced 12 to 14 hours ago, and you have a big off season and you have a lot of decisions to make and this, and that. And how can Daryl Morey do that right now? And it was probably the first time they talked since they had lost. So, a lot of people had been saying that. And then earlier this week, I had seen a finalist kind of, thing for the Lakers and their head coaching spot. There were a lot of candidates. And then Juwan Howard had turned it down. There were a couple other finalists. Terry Stotts was included in there. And it seemed like the Lakers were narrowing it down. But at the same time, there was always something in the shadows saying, they hope Doc Rivers would become available. And I don't know. They just seem kind of fixated on wanting Doc Rivers. And before, we had thought it was pretty much all rumor. But, with the amount of times that this continues to come up, maybe there is smoke and maybe there is fire. Maybe, just maybe. Could the Lakers potentially pull Doc Rivers away from Philly? Well, we know he loves the West Coast. We know he wants to be out there. There are even rumors that he could potentially get traded. Now, Doc Rivers actually got traded before from the Celtics to the Clippers. He had won the championship a couple years later, traded to the Lakers for like a first-round pick or something like that. And, could he actually become the first coach to get traded again? That would be actually that would be superb. That would be insane. Imagine being a coach getting traded twice. What is he? Like a superstar? I mean, some people think he is, and that's perfectly fine. But anyway, Doc loves LA. He's going through a lot of, drama. Maybe Philly isn't up to par in terms of what he expects. But so far from what I've heard and seen, it seems like he is going to be back. But you never know. You never know. Anything can happen. There are always a lot that goes on behind the scenes in the NBA offseason, and we'll just have to wait and see. But Doc Rivers and the Lakers, that would, I feel like the Lakers don't realize what they would be getting themselves into. They saw it firsthand with the Clippers. They saw it with the Sixers. And look, I'm not going to blame Doc for the series loss. Doc will do some good things for your team. I'm not denying that. But at the end of the day, watching the playoffs, realizing that the Sixers need to take that next step, and we just can't get past it. And now we're going into year 3 of this regime. And, we need to make something happen. And then, you think back to all the things that happened so far in these 2 years. I said that the Sixers probably needed to fire him, go in a different direction, especially because you need to utilize young guys. That is something Doc wouldn't do. But if he goes to the Lakers, maybe he can, coach a team full of 37-and-a-half-year-olds, and he'll be fine, and he'll do what he loves to do and play golf on Tuesdays. Who knows? But anyway, just something we'll have to monitor. Who knows if he's available? If he does become available, I could definitely see it happening. And it does seem like there is more noise as we go on. But anyway, moving forward to the other couple bombshells today, and it pretty much comes from an article written by Kyle Neubeck Kyle is one of the guys I do trust, does great work, and I enjoy reading his stuff. And he put out a article with a couple different things. Definitely check it out. The first thing that he talked about was Tyrese Maxey. There have been rumors. We haven't gotten a chance to talk about it. Like I said, we will be live soon talking about what this team needs to do to construct the right roster going forward. There have been chatters about a third star. People have been saying, are you willing to include Tyrese Maxey in that deal? And here is some insight from Kyle Neubeck. He, according to PhillyVoice, according to the reports, here's the quote. Maxey is as close to untouchable as you could be. And you know what? I have to agree with that from Kyle. I have to agree. I don't see any which way that Tyrese Maxey gets moved unless you get a top-tier superstar involved, and I just don't know if that's going to move the needle. Tyrese Maxey looks like he's going to be great down the road. Sure, we need to win now. Can he take that jump? I mean, he might not have even played if the whole saga didn't happen this year. Who knows? But I think Tyrese Maxey will continue to make leaps. I think he has it, and I think he's going to be great. Question is, can he do it now? Can he do it now? But, Daryl Morey, I just don't see him moving Tyrese Maxey. And according to Kyle Neubeck, it would really take a haul for, he said anything can happen, but I just don't see it happening. I think Maxey and Embiid are safe on this roster, and I think you're going to try to build around them, and everybody else is bait. I think everybody else is fair game, and, we'll have to wait and see how it goes from there. Would you trade Tyrese Maxey? Let me know down below. But it's definitely going to be interesting. Do you have your core going forward? And you surround Tyrese and Joel Embiid, especially with where Embiid is at in his career and where we are at as an organization. I mean, your window is partially closing. You have to get something done. You have to put the best team out here going forward. What will you do? We'll definitely talk about that more coming up. But anyway, the other thing Neubeck touched on was Matisse Thybulle. Definitely check out the content we put up a couple days ago discussing Matisse. Would I trade him? Is he available? Here's what Neubeck had reported on Thybulle. He says, a bit of record correcting. Thybulle is certainly not untouchable, and the Sixers would entertain moving him. So Thybulle is available. If the right offer comes along, maybe you get a chance from the Chicago Bulls and a guy like Kobe White, who maybe could bolster the scoring on your bench, and maybe you pull the trigger. But listen to this. The idea they would dump him strictly for salary reasons, as has been reported elsewhere, does not carry any weight. And that's what I had said a couple days ago. Definitely check it out. But, the Sixers are not just going to dump Thybulle. Daryl Morey held on to this guy for a reason. Obviously, we want him to develop, but you're going to have to get something as well. It's not just going to be, let me shed $4 million just to get below the luxury tax. Like, you're going to have to get something in return. And if not, we just have to hope and pray Matisse Thybulle somehow develops his jump shot. But, it's looking a little bit bleak at this point. So he really needs to make big strides, or, he could be shipped. He could even be moved as part of another deal. We will have to wait and see. But as Kyle said, certainly not untouchable. A couple months ago, some Sixers fans might have said, yes, he is untouchable. I don't think anybody views him like that right now. And, we're going into year 4. I mean, you got to get better. You got to get better. So we will see what happens. And the last thing I want to touch on is what Kyle Neubeck said relating to the draft. Yes, the Sixers actually are not scheduled to have a draft pick this year based off the whole Harden trade and what we gave up. But there was an interesting clause, and to save you some time and energy, pretty much what happened is the Brooklyn Nets have an option for the pick that they received in the Harden trade for this year to defer it to next year. A lot of people didn't think that they were going to do that. The Sixers had won a tie break. They had gotten the 23rd pick, and everybody thought, okay, the Nets are going to take that. But it is being reported, according to Kyle Neubeck, just over a week from the deadline, I've been told it's relatively likely the Nets will opt to defer the pick to next season, a big enough chance that the Sixers are actively preparing to be armed with the chip this summer. They have to decide by June 1st. So the timeline's coming up. It says, should they have it, it clears up what will be one of their most important bartering chips to upgrade the roster. So, it could still be moved. I do think Daryl Morey will try to maneuver the pieces. And there are going to be some eye-opening moves made. this summer. If there isn't, I don't think we're doing it the right way. But, you know, could the Sixers potentially draft for somebody else? Could a trade happen on draft night? Maybe they go out and stay in the draft somehow and get an impact player, because, you know, we missed on some guys last year. Even Jaden Springer's developing, but he is young. I mean, Doc Rivers doesn't know how old he is, but, you know, I mean, just another thing to look out for, another piece. We need all the ammunition we can have because, again, we need to make something happen. And there's just no more excuses. And got to get some of these players that can surround Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, and you need the right type of players, especially with Danny Green and his situation unknown and Matisse Thybulle. You got to upgrade this roster, and hopefully the Sixers can come out and get another piece to play around with. So we will see what happens. Those are, you know, all the little news bits today. Definitely interesting, a lot to keep up with, but at the end of the day, I think we need to keep our eyes on this coaching situation. Personally, I don't feel it will happen, but you never know in professional sports. Tyrese Maxey, I'm not trading him. I'm upgrading around him and Embiid, and I'm going all in, seeing what we can do. We'll have more on that coming up later this week. Give me all your thoughts down below about everything in the comment section. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one, man. Peace.
Perfect.